In 2009, at the Sasquatch Music Festival in Washington State, a man named Colin Winter stood up on a grassy hillside. Everybody around him was seated, quietly enjoying the music. He started to dance, making a complete fool of himself. People were giggling, looking over their shoulder, until someone else joined him. And then the third person joined, and a fourth. Within a few minutes, almost everyone was on their feet, dancing in complete joy. By that point, it was the people that were still sitting that looked out of place. To me, this is a beautiful example of how norms shift. That crowd didn't change because someone told them to. It changed because individuals decided to take a risk and join the dance. In the past few years, I've spent time with hundreds of founders in Kazakhstan, Kenya, India, Brazil, and beyond. They were some of the most talented, most driven people I have ever met, building social enterprises or companies that were changing the rules of the game in their industry or in their country. But what stuck with me the most about these people was their commitment to take a risk, their commitment to build something before it was certain that it was going to happen. In other words, they are first dancers. Europe needs more dancers. What will it take to make that happen? Europe today feels heavy. Not because nothing is working, not because nothing is possible, but because our expectations for the future have weakened. Young Europeans today are, for the first time since the Second World War, unsure of whether their lives will be as good as their parents' lives. There is so much uncertainty in the world right now. Housing feels out of reach, and economic progress feels slow. That shift in expectations changes how societies and people behave. You can feel it in politics that have become mostly about loss, about protecting what we have rather than dreaming up what could be. You can feel it in everybody's need to protect, their fear of outsiders, of the future, of risk. That mood has consequences. Because when a continent stops imagining a better future, it stops building towards one. The founders I mentioned, all over the world, what united them wasn't perfect timing or a ready market or abundant funding. In fact, often they did not have these resources. What united them was relentless optimism. Optimism as a commitment, as a decision that the future that they want is possible and worth building towards. That culture of optimism pushes societies forward. It generates new ideas, new companies, and greater prosperity. And prosperity, in turn, generates more optimism. When an economy is expanding, failure becomes affordable. Politics becomes less zero-sum, less us versus them. There is less of a need to protect what you have and live with the confidence that you and others will be fine. People feel that the future has space in it for them, and so they reach for it. Optimism drives growth, and growth makes optimism feel rational. So, how do we get there? This brings me back to Colin, dancing on that sunny hillside. What he had and what changed in that crowd wasn't a plan or a policy, it was people. A critical mass of people deciding that joining was worth it. That is what I'm asking for. Not for a collective illusion of optimism, but for some people to stand up. So, what might this look like? This might look like you starting to build a company, unsure of whether it will work, or you deciding to support the people that are trying, even if they fail. This might look like policymakers choosing bold action over the protection of the status quo, and institutions that stop treating the default as permanent. This might look like all of us taking brave action and committing to the idea that a better future is ahead. As Rahm Emanuel once said, don't let a good crisis go to waste. And luckily for Europe, we have lots of good crises at the moment. For once, for this, we don't need a plan or some sort of large-scale orchestrated action. What we need are first dancers and people to join the dance. So, I ask, are you willing to dance?